Welcome to A Slice with Dice, a place for honest conversations about the realities of education. I'm Corey Alderdice, Executive Director of the Arkansas School for Mathematics, Sciences, and the Arts. I've spent nearly 2 decades navigating the joys, challenges, and unexpected moments that come with leading schools. Each week, I'll share what works, what doesn't, and everything in between when it comes to igniting the full potential of our communities. I'm excited to share this journey with you. So let's get started. Perfectionism. It's one of those words that can evoke a mix of pride and frustration. On one hand, striving for excellence feels rewarding, even admirable. But on the other, perfectionism can feel like a weight, a constant pressure to be flawless in everything we do. But what if we've been thinking about perfectionism all wrong? What if instead of trying to get rid of it, we could learn to harness it? So today we're diving into the idea of perfectionism, what it really is, how it manifests in different ways, and why it's especially relevant to gifted students. We'll explore some insights from Katherine Morgan Schafler's The Perfectionist's Guide to Losing Control. Then take a closer look at how these ideas apply to gifted students. And finally, we'll talk about what parents and educators can do to support these students as they navigate the challenges that come with both their gifts and their perfectionism. Okay, let's start with the basics. What is perfectionism? And it's often misunderstood as a single-minded need to get everything right all the time. But perfectionism is more nuanced than that. At its core, perfectionism is the desire to achieve something extraordinary. It's not about being perfect, because let's face it, no one ever is, but about the pursuit of excellence. The challenge comes when that pursuit becomes rigid or overwhelming, when we equate our work with our achievements, or when we fear mistakes so much that we avoid trying altogether. Perfectionism can hold us back instead of lifting us up. Now, in The Perfectionist's Guide to Losing Control, Schafler reframes perfectionism as a natural human impulse that can be expressed in healthy or unhealthy ways. She argues that perfectionism isn't something to fix or eliminate, but it's something to understand and manage. Now, one of the most intriguing ideas in her book is that perfectionism comes in different forms. Schafler identifies 5 distinct types, each with its own strengths and challenges. And I think this framework helps us move away from thinking of perfectionism as a one-size-fits-all trait and instead begin to see it as something that's deeply personal. So let's take a closer look at these 5 types. First, there's the classic perfectionist. This is the image most of us have when we think of perfectionism. These individuals are detail-oriented, organized, and disciplined. They thrive on structure and order, but can struggle when things don't go according to plan. Next, we have the Parisian perfectionist. Now, their perfectionism plays out in relationships. They want to be seen as thoughtful, caring, and likable. And while this can make them wonderful friends and collaborators, it can also lead to people-pleasing behaviors that leave them drained. Then there's the procrastinator perfectionist, someone who fears imperfection so much that they delay starting or finishing tasks. It's not laziness, it's the fear of not living up to their own high standards. The messy perfectionist is full of enthusiasm and creativity. They love starting new projects and dreaming big, but often find it hard to follow through. Their perfectionism lies in the excitement of the idea rather than the execution. And finally, the intense perfectionist is laser-focused on outcomes. These individuals set ambitious goals and push themselves hard to achieve them. Now, while this drive can lead to incredible accomplishments, it can also lead to burnout and self-criticism. All right, so there's the 5, and each of these types offer insight into how perfectionism can manifest in different ways, and they do, again, remind us that perfectionism isn't inherently bad. It's how we approach it that matters. Okay, so let's connect this to gifted students. Giftedness often comes with high expectations, both from others and from the students themselves. These students probably hear phrases like, "Oh, you're so smart," or "You've got so much potential," which actually can add to their internal pressure to always perform at a high level. For a classic perfectionist, this might mean spending hours refining a science project until it's just right. For a procrastinator perfectionist, it could mean avoiding a challenging task because they're afraid of not meeting expectations. And for a messy perfectionist, it might look like starting dozens of projects but never finishing them, and then being frustrated by the gap between their vision and reality. Gifted students often struggle with the emotional side of perfectionism, too. Many have what's called asynchronous development, where their intellectual abilities outpace their emotional or social skills. And this can make it even harder to cope with the frustrations or setbacks that come with natural learning and growth. So how can we support these students? First, it's important to normalize struggle and failure. Gifted students sometimes think that their abilities mean they should never find things hard, but struggle, it's part of learning no matter how gifted you are. Sharing stories of high achievers who overcome failures can help them see that even the best stumble on their way to success. Second, we need to emphasize balance. Encourage gifted students to pursue activities that have nothing whatsoever to do with achievement, hobbies, sports, or literally just downtime to recharge. This helps them build a sense of self-worth that isn't tied exclusively to their accomplishments. And finally, teach self-compassion. Gifted students often hold themselves to impossibly high standards. Remind them that they're more than their grades or trophies. Help them focus on progress rather than perfection, and celebrate their efforts as much, if not even more so, than their results. You see, perfectionism doesn't have to be a burden. For gifted students, and really for all of us, it can be a source of strength when approached with balance and understanding. By reframing perfectionism as a tool rather than a trap, we can help students embrace their gifts while giving themselves the grace to grow. A Slice with Dice is a production of the Arkansas School for Mathematics, Sciences, and the Arts. I hope today's reflection sparked some thoughts for your own journey. If you enjoyed the episode, please subscribe, share, and leave a review. Let's keep learning and leading together. Until next time, keep striving for growth and excellence. Thanks for tuning in.